Taxing your land in other states. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Now, we've discussed this topic before. The Queensland government will tax investors for land they own in other states. This is just nuts. And let's go through this. Thank you to the viewer that sent this to me because this is going to impact renters. Okay? It won't be the investors who pay this. It will be renters that pay this. So if your rent's going up and you've got landlords that have properties in other states, blame it on your government. This is why. Taxes, taxes, more bloody taxes. Maybe rather than imposing more taxes on the citizens, the government can, I don't know, cut some of the fat that they have. Remember when every civil servant in Queensland was given $1,000 just for doing nothing? To stimulate the economy or to buy votes? It's insane. So let's have a look. From the 30th of June 2023, we will calculate, when we calculate land tax, we will use the total value of your Australian land. This includes your taxable land in Queensland and your relevant interstate land. Relevant interstate land includes land located in another state or territory that is valued under interstate value legislation and is not excluded interstate land. The total value of your Australian land will be used to determine whether the tax-free threshold has been exceeded, the rate of land tax that will be applied to the Queensland portion of the value of your land holdings. So it's going to impact the taxes that you pay in Queensland, essentially taxing you on that land. The current tax-free thresholds are $600,000 for individuals, other than absentees, and $350,000 for companies, trustees, and absentees. You'll only pay tax on the land you owe in Queensland. We are not taxing your land outside Queensland. Well, then you should ignore it. This is bullshit. Of course, they're indirectly taxing you on that land outside of Queensland. If you have a $600,000, or let's say your land in Queensland's worth $550,000, but you have a $200,000 property in New South Wales, land there. Oh, look, all of a sudden now you are paying tax. You're no longer tax-free in Queensland. So they're essentially taxing you on that other land. If you only own land in Queensland, you will not be affected by this change. You will continue to be able to access all available exemptions, such as the home principal place of residence and primary producer exemptions. Oh, isn't that nice? If you own land in Queensland and in another state or territory, you will need to declare your interstate land holdings. You will need to set up a QRO online account and complete the declaration, including land description, value, and percentage of your ownership. Why are people voting for a government that just puts more taxes on their citizens? Rather than them cleaning up the mess that they have with the amount of money that they're wasting, they're running in deficit here in Queensland. They're looking at ways to generate more taxes, to kick the can down the road even further. So you've got 30 days from your land tax assessment notice on or before 30 anyway. Interstate land value. If you own land in Queensland and interstate, we will calculate the land tax based on the total value of your taxable land located in Queensland, the statutory value of your interstate land. The statutory value of interstate land is determined by valuation legislation in that state or territory. It does not include excluded land. When you complete an interstate land declaration online, you'll enter the value of each parcel of interstate land. For an interstate property you own on the 30th of June 2023, you would enter the statutory value for that parcel of land as a yada, yada, yada. If you don't know the value of the parcel of land relevant 30th of June, use the most, averaging and subdivided discounts will not apply to interstate land. If you are an absentee or a foreign company or trust, a surcharge of 2% is added when calculating land tax. This applies to the total value of your land in Australia. So there you go. If you're an absentee or foreign company or just a trust. So if you have it in a trust, you're copying another 2% on the total value of your land in Australia. So they are taxing you on the interstate land. Isn't this awesome? Guys, aren't you happy we voted for this lot in Parliament here in Queensland to just... because this is going to be another cost to investors. It'll be another cost to investors, more taxes, so it's going to screw them more. The land tax rate that applied depends on what type of owner you are and the value of your land. This rate and the surcharge, if applicable, is applied to the total value of your Australian land. Then this figure is applied to the Queensland portion to get the annual land tax liability. So, on the 30th of June 2022, Lena owns land in Queensland with a taxable value of $745,000. Her land tax is calculated using the rates for individuals. Okay, $500 plus that, $1,950. We will issue an assessment notice for $1,950. Okay. On the 30th of June 2023, the value of Lena's land in Queensland has not changed, but Lena now also owns land in Victoria, valued at $1.5 million, and the total value of her land is 2.3, which means the land tax is calculated using a higher rate for individuals. Now her land tax will be calculated. Holy shit, look at this. The taxable value of the land is 2.3 million with change, so the calculation is 26. So the amount is applied to the Queensland portion of her land tax, i.e. 745,000 plus 2.3 million times, or divided by 2.3 million times 26. Oh, so, okay, so it's 8,000. So her land tax has gone from 1,950 to 8,425. So 8,422 divided by what? 1,950. So 4.3 times. So this example, the land tax has gone up 4.3 times, and there's been no increase in the value of their property, but they're just going to take account of the assets you hold in another state. What the hell has that got to do with Queensland? How is that any of their business? How is that affecting them at all? It doesn't increase the costs of you holding a property here. So that means, let's see, you know what are we talking about here? Say you've got 8,400 minus 1,950. You got another $6,000 you've got to pay for your property. Can you get credits if you're paying land tax in other states? Doesn't sound like it. Maybe you can, but who do you think is going to pay that? The landlord? No, they're going to pass that on to the tenants. And don't we have a rental crisis here? Isn't rent getting more expensive? This is the type of shit that the government does that drives up cost of rents, that drives up the cost of property, that drives up the holding costs of property. And you wonder why housing is unaffordable. Okay, and people keep voting for the same idiots again and again and again. Excluded land. For land in Queensland, you may be eligible for a land tax exemption depending on the ownership and use of the land. If your interstate land meets certain criteria, requirements, or you can apply to have its value excluded. What are these? Mostly the eligibility requirements are available in relation to land in Queensland will apply to those. Exclusions, home, primary produce, supported accommodation, a caravan park, retirement. I mean, this is all old people stuff. Oh, look at this. Government land, Port Authority land. Oh, wow. Social clubs. Yeah, the individuals are getting screwed. Come on, this isn't productive. These are houses. So, DBA company owns the following land holdings. So, every business in Queensland that has multiple offices now all of a sudden has got an increase in their land tax. So what are they looking at here? They're going, yeah. What are we saying here? Taxable land is 1.4, and then all of a sudden it goes up to 2.1. If you are dissatisfied with your land tax assessment, no, I'm not dissatisfied with that. I'm dissatisfied with the fact that this has actually passed through into Parliament. What were the objections? Why wasn't this in the media? This is insane. Why is the Queensland government doing this? Well, because they're running out of bloody money and they've got to keep paying all their civil servants. Let's have a talk about this. This is going to increase the cost of renting. 100%. Okay? People are going to pay this. It's going to work its way through to higher rents. They'll use it to justify rents going up. You know, there you go. I'm not even shocked anymore, but they just try other ways to just vacuum money out of people. And it's gonna make it harder for people to get into housing. Good old Queensland, eh? Rather than save money, they invent new ways to tax. What do you think? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this one. It upsets me. Thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, for other content I create. And if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, buying our merch, or calling us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bloody hell. This government here in Queensland, people need to get outraged over this type of thing. It's going to increase the cost of living for people who are trying to save to get in the market.